Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and it's time for another live game of StarCraft 2. And what I got for you today is a Zerg versus Zerg that I am playing at the exact same time as I'm also giving commentary to it. Apparently we have been spotted. I'm currently playing on my main account. Let's respond with the proper emoji right here. There we go, get some Twitch memes up in here. Now, we are currently playing a ZVZ, right? A Zerg for the Zerg. This does mean that I need to take a moment here and put on my dancing shoes. It's critical for us that we wear a tutu just because of the fact that in Link versus Bane battles, it's very easy to quickly lose the match. Now, maybe it won't come to that, but even then, right? Even if it turns out we're transitioning straight towards roaches, we will still need to micro our butts off, because this is one of the few matchups in StarCraft 2 where I really feel like micro makes all the difference, in particular in the earlier stages of the game, right? Obviously, the amount of workers and whatnot that you have is still absolutely critical, but there's no denying that it's very easy to accidentally lose. Watch me fill my injects. It's alright. My first game of the day. It's alright, buddy. Don't you worry about it, Triple Helix. I believe in you, dude. Actually, I probably should not be motivating my opponent, right? I don't think that's how you're supposed to play this matchup. It's alright. He doesn't seem to be all too excited about it. It's an early morning right here in the Netherlands, but I think we should be in a pretty decent state. I've actually been winning a little bit more Zerg vs Zerg recently, as you guys may be aware. It's always been historically my weakest matchup. I think I just simply enjoy playing Zerg vs Terran and Zerg vs Protoss a little bit better whenever I do get to play the Zerg pieces. Plus, on top of that, I actually just changed. Oh my god, he's cheesing me! I actually just changed a couple of my hotkeys as well. Now, I went for a very late spawning pool there, as you may have noticed. And even though my opponent apparently said he was gonna miss his queen injects, I think we can. Even though he said he was gonna miss his queen injects, these are gonna be pretty much irrelevant as my opponent is already sending a lot of links across the map. Let's pull some drones out of it. I'll likely have to pull some of my workers here as well. Just because I'm gonna need them to hold on to my expansion. Having a couple of these units out would make this a lot easier. I'm actually gonna send over. That's the queen inject or the mouse accuracy that I was talking about right there. I just changed my DPI up a bunch. I've been trying to lower it, but anyways, yeah. So I was just gonna say I need to know whether or not there's banelings out as well. Turns out there are. I would like to be aware of where my opponent's army is located, though. Okay. I did manage to get rid of those Banes there. Or I guess he did that for me. What a generous man. I got a lot more units coming up here. And so far it is actually manageable. Got rid of a lot more units once again. Link speed will be finishing up in just a sec, which is nice. Let's see if he's hiding any Banes anywhere. And so far, actually, I think we've done a pretty decent job just simply holding on. I still have that one queen out as well. I'm gonna go ahead and hotkey her to make sure that she goes back to the natural. And now it's time to start sending some Zerglings here across the map for our own sake as well. Want to make sure that I find out if he's got any hidden Banes anywhere. I made a few drones just now too, because I don't have that many. I still ended up losing quite a few. Let's go ahead and target fire down these two. There we go. And right now he's forced into a defensive position instead, which is pretty nice for us. Okay, cool. I know these aren't gonna finish yet, so it's all good. I have a lot more links than he does. Cool. Trying to target fire down some of these weakened Banes. Have to be careful now, though. They're likely gonna finish here a second. Try and get the queen. Got her. Let's inject once again here on our side of the map. And even though we haven't won yet, I just squeezed out another worker. I've got a significantly bigger eco than he does. And even though I opened up very greedily there, it was mostly due to his miss micro, I suppose, but even though that wasn't perfect by me, I feel like we're still in a pretty decent position. Got that one Bane taken care of here too. And my opponent says GG.
Nice.
Alrighty, so our next match is against a Protoss here. Now, speaking of Protoss, I actually have to say, in Zerg vs Protoss, I am starting to feel quite confident. There are a lot of builds that Zerg can go for. Recently, of course, literally just like 2 days ago or so, we saw a nerf to the Overlord drops. Now, luckily for me, I wasn't really playing all too many Overlord drops to begin with. But it doesn't take away that Zerg still has a lot of viable openers. For example, a lot of Zerg players like going for Nidus Worms. You can go ahead and play a standard macro game here as well, which is what I think I want to plan, or I plan on doing here myself. Over the last few days, though, for those of you that watched the live stream, I have been going for a lot of Hydralisk-based pushes. And a lot of Protoss players, they were used to dealing with that kind of pushing when Hydralisk still had their upgrades combined. However, recently, of course, we saw the split up of the Hydras. However, I've been going for double Hydra dents instead of a single one, which is really quite funny because a lot of Protoss players are right now playing super greedy because they no longer expect the Hydra push. And even though the Hydra push is technically weaker and easier to hold, just because the upgrades split once again. If you go double Hydra, then you're gonna have less of the unit in total. But since a lot of players are playing super greedy, oftentimes you can still do a lot of damage with that kind of push. So we'll see if I can potentially pull something like that off. Now, obviously, that does require my opponent to play a pretty standard macro game here as well. So, you know, only time will tell exactly what it is my opponent has got in store for us here as well. Now, by the way, for those of you unfamiliar, I know I sometimes make announcement videos on YouTube saying when I'm live, but I do stream on my default schedule Monday through Saturday from 2 to 8 p.m. CET. So I stream quite a bit. I don't think a lot of people on YouTube necessarily realize it, but that's twitch.tv/LowkoTV for those of you interested. Okay, my opponent is doing a little bit of patrolling around in the natural, trying to figure out what it is he has got in coming up here. Now, actually, ooh, double Zealot? Whoa. I'm not entirely sure, actually, what that is all about. If he's gonna send in more Zealots, I don't think I necessarily need it if he has a Nexus, but there's no Nexus. Huh. Well, remember what I said, right? It takes two to play that kind of game. I am definitely gonna need quite a few units to try and deal with this. Probably about, I would say 16 or so at least. Queens are just about to finish up though, which is nice. Link speed won't be done for another little bit. I'm actually going to send my queens into the main, because the adepts are likely going to shade up. Link speed will finish up in just a second. My natural will be well defended here for sure. I'm just all making drones right now. He just cancels it. Alright. Well, in that case, I think it's time for me to move across. And go for a third. Bit of a funny opener here by my opponent. He's actually got to recall the units? Ooh, get him! Nope, won't be able to get him. Well, that's a little funny there. Not something you would usually expect in this matchup. But that's one of the things I like though, right? A little bit of build order variety. It definitely goes a long way and makes the game a lot more exciting. Nice wall there, just barely in the nick of time. I contemplated making more units there for a little bit, but right now I'm glad I did not. Alright, we do have to be careful though. Even though he delayed his own builds for just a bit, this doesn't mean that he has no longer got the capability to, for example, go for oracles, right? I do have to be a little careful there. So a single spore in the main base should prevent a lot of that aggression from coming up. Gotta be starting up my my lair here too. Don't know exactly what he's got going up, right? There is a single stalker now. He's actually sending that one towards the main base. I don't know if he's hiding anything, but we'll get a spore over here too. It's funny though. They have to delay quite a bit there as far as their tech goes in order to pull those kind of builds off. I don't know if I'm going to see anything though. Nah, it's just double gate. Second pylon over there. Nothing all too interesting. I'm going to get a Baneling Nest here just in case, because I feel like I might go up against something a little more aggressive here. There's a Void. Okay, I was going to say. We don't really know exactly what kind of tech he's got in store for us, but that makes it a bunch easier. Interestingly enough, no Oracle play. Oracle's, of course, the gold standard for a while now. Doesn't mean that he won't be following it up with an Oracle, so I still kind of have to blindly prepare against it anyway. Kind of funny how that works. Let's try and figure out if he's got a third coming up anytime soon. Or if he plans on playing more macro. Or maybe another timing push. I'm trying to drone up until about 53 or so. 53 is usually a pretty good amount. So there we go. 1 Hydra Den. 2 Hydra Den. This is good. From here on out, I'm actually planning to make a lot of units. I don't know what my opponent is going for. I'm not seeing a third base yet. Usually the latest that one goes up is about 5 minutes. Okay, my opponent actually got a push coming up right now. Let's morph in some Banes. I'm not seeing anything yet. Luckily, I've got some creep spread here, though, which makes this much easier. Okay, double upgrades. And I've got a bunch of Hydralisk now coming up here as well. I think he just went back home. That's okay. I still plan on making non-stop units anyway for a while. Although I didn't really want to make these links in this, you know, big number just yet. Shouldn't be a terrible spot. Okay, let's target fire that one down. Okay. It's got a big push coming in here. Let's get these scary units out of there. Great. So that's the base council on the other side of the map. And we also prevented this army here from dealing critical damage. And immediately, man, we get some quick games today. My opponent decides to GG out. Alrighty, and for our last match of the day, we are going up against a Terran player. You know what? Let's go ahead and play a little bit more cheesy, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and go for a Ravager Rush. Now guys, truth be told, ever since I got back from China a couple of days ago, I have lost probably about 300 to 400 or so MMR. I've gone down on the ladder a bunch, just because of the fact that I didn't really play for about a week and a half, right? And StarCraft 2 is one of those games that rewards you when you play a lot, and it punishes you when you, you know, you slack practice. So it turns out that, you know, I am a little bit rusty right now. I'm still grinding off the dust. As you guys may be aware, I do play this game a heck of a lot. And, you know, it's one of those things when you practice a lot, usually you will become a better player as well. Anyway, so, by the way, the reason why I'm mentioning that is just because I may be facing off against some weaker opponents than I usually play against. Because, well, if that's, if there's one thing that StarCraft 2 is really good at, is finding you a suitable opponent to play. Anyway, so, I'm gonna go for a very cheesy build. This build is great if my opponent does not go for an SCV scout. Now, if your opponent goes for an SCV scout, I mean, he's going to be able to go for the command center inside of the main base, and all of a sudden, he's going to be in a wonderful position to just simply win the game straight up. However, I got my first 2 links out right now. I plan on hiding these on the left-hand side of the map. And I need to make sure that I check my first Overlord here to see if a Reaper is moving by. If there is, it means that I'm likely going to be able to go in with my Zerglings and snipe the SCV that's building the command center on the low ground. If I can, I will slow him down significantly, economically speaking. There we go. There's... Oh, no, it's not a Reaper. Okay, I was going to say, that seems a little late. I'm still going to sneak in with the Zerglings, though. If he's busy, preoccupied on the other side of the map, he hasn't done any kind of scouting. Likely I'm not going to be able to do very much. Actually, him nibbling away there at the Overlord was a pretty big deal as well. Not the best starts here for me. Do have to be a little careful. Let's do a little bit of poking. There is a command center on the low ground. Alright, well, there's also 2 Marines. I did bring my dancing shoes, of course, but, you know, we're still in a little bit of trouble. If I can snipe that SCV, it would be huge, but he's likely going to finish it right now. Ah, it's the RNG as well, right? You literally have 0 influence as a Terran player as to where that SCV moves. It's one of the few bits of RNG in SC2. I don't think I can finish it. Nope. I did get those 2 units for free, I guess. There's now a second factory even coming up already. Oh, it's still a pretty good setup, though. Right? I don't think we can really complain here. Let's have the Roach lead the charge, sure. And my opponent So dirty. My opponent decides to GG out. Some quick games here. But you know what? Sometimes you just simply gotta try your best, play a little bit cheesy. Sometimes you have to defend some cheese as well. It's all good. It's all good-natured fun. I do prefer playing the macro game, but usually, right, with my warm-up games of the day, I will indeed play a little bit more aggressive. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get a notification as soon as I upload more. Other than that, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you in the next one.